Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Napoleon told back with some Shogun 2, Fall of the Samurai, Scramble for the Far East mod, and we're back with the Qing campaign. In the last turn, we fought a lot of battles, and after that, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna scale down the time of each battle, so we're just gonna go into more campaign. Literally, what is gonna happen is the fact that, there's not gonna be a lot of battles anymore. Well, there are gonna be a lot of battles still. I'm gonna cover every battle, but, the time in which I'm gonna dedicate to set amount of battle is gonna be less and less. And as time goes on. So yes, that's that. What you see me doing right here is I'm trying to move my fleets around. Last turn we did the siege of Kaga, and while we defended Kaga, now we are trying to desperately to reinforce this army. Now the enemy is going to retreat, which is not a bad idea. They are heavily outnumbered facing my troops. Yes, that's that. So, yes. That's that. What I'm doing right now is elsewhere. The British allies helped me take Yamato. And so I'm just gonna let the British allies help me again, as we've seen in the last episode. But yes, I'm gonna have the British help me in this situation, and yes, hopefully it's gonna go well. Hopefully. But that said, we're gonna end the turn and we're gonna see what the British do. The British are gonna help me with dealing with the American agents, and by dear god, the American agents are scary. They're not scary, they're just straight outright. They're just straight outright annoying. Like, you literally, I hope the next update really changes the amount of agents. Literally, I have nothing against, small scale agents. But then at this point, agents okay, I really like the agents in Three Kingdoms. That's what I'm trying to say. But I really hate the agents in Shogun 2. Especially with this mod. For some reason, for this mod, I don't really like the agents. They're, way too aggressive, and yeah, it's not the best. So yes. We're gonna end the turn, and well, we already ended the turn, but a lot of rebellions everywhere, so that's no surprise. We're gonna go on to Mino, because Mino is the next step. Currently, I am outpacing the British in terms of territories gained, and at a certain point, I'm gonna deal with this rebellion. And when dealing with this rebellion, I realized that, yeah, this rebellion is so hard to deal with. I'm gonna have my general supervised recruitment, and although I can also have that general set advisor, not general, set advisor move to my main army, and hope for the best. Yes. At this point, it's a lot of just random stuff. Like, mostly it's military units moving around. I'm disbanding a lot of these units to replace them with white border banner units, which is really important, especially in the the reason why they're so good is literally not because they're good. It's literally because they do work. And when I mean they do work, I mean they do work. So yeah. Well, the other reason why they're so cheap, but they're pretty good against most things. We're gonna go and take each with this army. I realize that if the enemy supports, we're gonna be terribly outnumbered. So that is why I'm either gonna do a night attack this turn, or I'm just gonna continue the siege. I'm actually more than likely going to continue the siege. I'm gonna move my military advisor to my general here. And there is technically one American army, one right here and one right there. But I'm gonna distract this army, because this army is the slightly bigger one. And when I mean slightly bigger, I mean way bigger one. But down south, there's nothing much I can do. A lot of stuff has just been going on. I do have a lot of agents left and right. I have too many spies, I have too many, like, assassins in this territory, so I'm gonna move at least one to the north. But yes, that said, we're about to keep prepared to move on to even more stuff. This person who has successfully Yun, the courteous, or geisha, is basically just leveled up, so that's good. I think she's more suitable for literally enchanting the enemies, so that's what I'm gonna do. And yes, that's that. This army, the British and my army, which is the Southern Army, I guess. The army that is down south, like way down south, is gonna be helping. Is gonna be taking more land. Well, as you can see, my fleet. I'm trying to get my fleet to work, but it's not going so well. So yeah. And in the last part, this enemy fleet just literally escaped. So I'm gonna be chasing this enemy fleet down, which is not a bad idea. We are out of reach for this turn, so we're just gonna keep chasing them down. They only have 3 traditional ships, so that's kind of a joke. My fleet is also in range of, almost gonna be in range of Etsu. And once it's in range, I'm gonna order you the assault, because Etsu Etsu is a pretty defensive fortifications. It is tough defenses, and it's no joke. That's it. There are American agents just going around. Holy, it's not even. Okay, once again about agents, I don't really like agents, not at all. The reason is that agents are way too overpowered. Once again, I would rather prefer the Three Kingdom versions of agents. They make you think, like they make you think. Although sometimes it's very obvious, the agents make you think. Like literally, they make you think. Okay, is this person a spy? Is this person not a spy? And could he be a spy? Could that person be a spy? It literally makes you think. But in Shogun 2, it's just stupid. At this point, it's getting stupid because, like, agents at this point are way too overpowered. They shouldn't be that overpowered, and they're, like, historically, there's not a lot of agents that go around killing people. Like, the real point of an agent, is literally to gather information, which the Three Kingdoms does pretty well, except, well, in some cases. They still have the assassination button, but there are some agents that can carry out assassinations, don't get me wrong. But most agents, during their time as agents, from what I know, is that they gather information, intelligence, not straight outright go and kill people. That's more like assassins. But that said, yeah. But that said, I rather prefer the version like Three Kingdoms agents, but, or either take out agents or straight outright make agents very underpowered. I hope that happens in, the update, which is beta 12. Beta 12. And the reason is simply because agents, once again, are way too overpowered. So yes, that's that. You see me here trying to move, well, I have this destroyed up ship, so we are gonna hopefully repair that, so yes. And so yes, Beta 12 is gonna be coming out in the end of November 21st, I think. November 21st, I think. At least at the very end of November, and yes, they're gonna be coming out, and yes. For those that are wondering, I said again that it is not save compatible, meaning that if you are to save this game, if you were to save something in Beta 11, this is Beta 11 by the way, and then you transported to Beta 12, it's not gonna work. It's just straight outright not gonna work because like a lot of stuff are gonna be revamped. For the Qing, I know at least they're gonna bring in a lot more units, and I don't know how much exactly. Obviously I don't know that, but it's a lot. So yes, that's that. With everything cleared in this campaign, with a lot of stuff cleared, left and right. I'm actually gonna fight this battle down south, but with the help of my British allies, of course. This army is pretty much relying on the British to do the heavy duty work. And when I mean heavy duty, I mean like my guys are gonna be bombing the heck out of the enemy. And this is the part in which we have so many rockets. It's starting to get legitimately laggy. And you can see what I'm talking about in a few seconds. As a matter of fact, I think it's right now. The rockets are gonna fire, and it's gonna be lag. And the reason is simply because there's just straight outright too much of them. Yeah, that was a lot of lag. I think for some reason the lag also happened with fire arrows also give you lag, but like fire arrows, the lag from fire arrows are way better. But that said, once again, I have cut down the length of battles, and as you can see right now, the Colonial Highland Foot are just going to be storming this tier of the fortress. The place which they decide to attack has a low climbing radius, so that means not a lot of their guys are going to be susceptible to being fall to death, as I like to call it. But so the British are just going to enter combat, and these Colonial Highland Foot, the game calls them Colonial Sutherland Foot, but I'm just going to call them Highland Foot, Colonial Highland Foot. If you guys are interested for me to call them Colonial Sutherland Highland Foot, I will do that. And yes, that was a lot of rockets, a lot of lag. But I do have to say, this is pretty interesting with the British flag and the British and enemy flags in the background. Yeah, the Wakizama, which are the defenders in this scenario, is starting to get a lot hard to describe who the heck I'm at war with a lot of people. But the Wakizama are actually doing a pretty good job of defending, mainly because they have a lot of troops. And literally the British only sent one unit. I don't know why, but from what I know, the British have a large army, so I guess they're going to be testing the defenses. But this assault, this is one of the last assaults, is not a probing action. They're going to give them it all. And at this point, the enemy kind of realizes that, and that's why they're literally shooting the British at point blank range. This is literally point blank range. You don't even need to aim at this point. Like you just load, reload, aim at the person literally standing two or 3 meters in front of you and open fire, and you're gonna get a kill. That is, unless you literally miss on purpose, but why would you do that? But that said, the British are gonna come through the fortress and they're gonna be assaulting, and it's gonna be a bloody siege because the enemy has most of their army here. And another reason why it's gonna be really bloody is because my rockets also get and mortars get friendly fire, and even if they don't get friendly fire, they straight outright don't have the range. So yeah, most of it is done by the British infantry, which the British infantry are actually better, but against these Katana Samurai, they're not gonna do so well. But the Katana Samurai, for those who don't know, are slightly better, +1 to everything, +1 morale, +1 stuff, than my White Banner border units. For the Japanese faction, the Katana Samurai are like the ultimate sword unit. For me, I have it differently. My ultimate sword unit is not the White Banner border unit. It's actually the Yellow Banners, the White Banner, and the Yellow Banner border units. But that's it. The British army is pretty much destroyed from this battle. Yeah, pretty much destroyed. But we've taken it. They've taken it technically, but I've taken it. We've taken Key, and hopefully Key has a place in which I could replenish my army, which is something I really need. There is an American fleet. There's a massive American fleet right there. And I'm saying massive in the terms of number of ships. It's the largest that we come across, so that's interesting. My fleet is slowly going there. I'm pretty sure they outnumber me, but hey, I don't really care about being outnumbered. I just care about defeating my enemy. In this battle, we can literally fight a 1v1, although I'm just gonna continue to see. Actually, no, I might fight it, or I might not. The enemy, the enemy reinforcing army is not that bad, but that's it. I'm gonna not actually attack this yet. I'm gonna break the siege, and then I'm gonna have this army attack the outside army. Hopefully, I was hoping that they would attack, but they don't, so that's a shame. If the enemy sally out, then it's gonna be great. But that also leaves them pretty acceptable to me attacking them on in a 1v1 siege. And at this point, I really have to fight this because in a few turns it's gonna be winter, and I don't want to be taking winter attrition. Also, this province is the bridgehead between me and Prussia, as you can see. Yes, we're gonna be attacking, and the enemy on this side is heavily undefended. My army is also pretty destroyed after fighting for so long. But that said, our guys, there's a lot more defenders than these White Banner border units, and I'm gonna be using White Banner border units a lot. And the reason is simply because these are some of the best infantry that I have, and they're so cheap. 1 upkeep per turn. The enemy has a lot of these defenders, and it's kind of getting scary especially if they fire a mass volley at you. But hopefully they don't. And hopefully they don't. But from what I see during the entire battle, and yeah, from what I know from the battle, the enemy is really spread out, as you can see. This is actually the 3rd tier. We have already scaled a lot of tiers, and the enemy army is pretty much destroyed. The enemy are just straight outright going in, and what do you call it, in melee, and they're not doing so well. Obviously, because one of my units are way better in melee than these guys, and because I also have artillery support in terms of mortars. I don't have rockets for this army, which is quite a shame. But I do have naval support, and I will be using this naval support in my battle. Although I come to find that naval support in this mod is way more accurate. And well, artillery support in this mod for some reason is way more accurate, and to make it better. However, there is only 1 volley, so so it's like for those who don't know, in Fall of the Samurai, there are 2 rounds of naval bombardment. The first round and the second round, obviously, needed both of them do almost the exact same damage, assuming that you can land a hit, and assuming that the enemy doesn't run away. So yes, but in this mod you only have 1 round, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually get kills because these how do I say it? These artillery strikes actually are accurate, and not like, I don't know, like Fall of the Samurai artillery strikes. Well, not artillery strike, but naval bombardment. Like, naval bombardment in Fall of the Samurai is pretty inaccurate, and naval bombardment for some reason this mod is actually pretty accurate for some reason. Obviously that's kind of historically inaccurate, because at the time of Fall of the Samurai they should be more accurate than from this time. And for those who don't know, Fall of the Samurai starts somewhere in 1860 something, 1868 I think. Well, whenever the start of the Boshin War, it's oh sorry, this Fall of the Samurai starts at 1856. Sorry, 1868, and the start of this campaign is literally 1857, I think. But that said, naval bombardment shouldn't be that accurate, but it's a minor detail. I don't really care, unless I'm gonna be playing as the British. Unless I'm gonna be playing as the British, wink wink, nudge nudge. I might. You really shouldn't be using naval bombardment. Now, did the British get a buff in naval bombard? No! It just means that the British are just going to be deploying a lot of ships, hopefully. But yes. Yeah. For some reason, a few days ago, for those who don't know, my computer crashed. And that is why you see all this stuff, coming back, like, usually stuff that usually stuff that, like, oh, this is what fleets and armies do. Like, this is the hold button. This is the attack button. Thank you, Total War. Yeah, my computer just crashed. It's not like I lost all my files, which I didn't, by the way. So yes, I'm actually gonna be training the Ever Victorious Army. Okay, for those who don't know, the Ever Victorious Army was a Qing army that was raised and trained by the British. And it's, I don't know how good it did in combat because I don't know. Personally, I don't know how they did in combat, but it was the only modern army that the Qing ever had. That besides the Beiyang army, not to be confused with the Beiyang fleet. The Beiyang army led by Yuan Sakai was also pretty scary. And for those who don't know Yuan Sakai was the one that finally decided to, you know what, we're gonna declare war. We're gonna force the Qing to abdicate, and yeah. You see right now, we're actually trying to pay Prussia to break their alliance with the United States of America. You can see that they're actually pretty satisfied when I give them military access, so that's kind of weird. But I'm just gonna give them 20 military access. I don't want to give them infinite for obvious reasons why. And yeah, the Prussians are actually allied with us and against the Americans, so that's wonderful. I don't want the Prussians to declare war on the United States, although it could soften up my tension. But that said, my mission is now to take 60 provinces and not, so it's going to be longer. We are 41 provinces, and by the end of this, we're going to be at 42. So, and one of the provinces are held by the British, Yamashiro, which is basically Kyoto. So that's a pain. I will eventually have to declare war on the British, unfortunately. Or declare war on the British and literally peace out a second later. But yeah, that's it. Also, we have to take Musashi, which is currently being controlled by the United States. And the reason why I don't want the Prussians declaring war is because they could take Musashi, which in turn means I have to literally declare war on them. Instead, I'm just going to be asking the Prussians for military access, and I'm going to land an army right somewhere around here, Hitachi, and then I'm just going to march my army into Shimoza, and then I'm going to take Musashi. Musashi. But that's it. All across the board in provinces such as, I don't know, Korea, people are happy. And I'm trying to move my final general in preparation for essentially almost an amphibious assault, but we're gonna be using the Prussians. The Prussians are gonna help us with the amphibious assault. For this army, the new army that I'm gonna raise, I'm gonna give them Ever Victorious Army Guardsmen, and I'm gonna mix them with some Ever Victorious Army Infantry. For some reason, I don't have skirmishers, which is kind of sad. Not that I ever used skirmishers, but skirmishers, by the way, for those who don't know, have the exact same range, or at least in this mod. Skirmishers in this mod have the exact same range as line infantry. Now you might be wondering, then what's the point? Well, the point is that skirmishers fire more accurately, and they allow you to scout. So that's pretty interesting. Historically, the cavalry usually scouts, but skirmishers don't really do that. Their main job is to harass the enemy. Once again, cavalry's role is to also harass the enemy. But yes, that said, I think I said somewhere in this episode that we were gonna do what's it called? We're going to take 42 provinces by the end of this episode. That's not going to be true. We're actually going to be still keeping 41, but at the start of the next episode, we're going to be taking 42. So yes, that's interesting. We destroyed another revolt, and Kaga and Setsu are apparently the only ones that can revolt, which is kind of sad. The other provinces don't revolt, and to a certain degree, I don't really hope they change that. I To a certain degree, I don't wish that they change revolts. But that said, I know it's starting to get a little over redundant. I rather I think I said this before, but I rather prefer massive battles and battles that literally decide kingdoms rather than I don't know, public order, managing public order, because technically, historically, when it comes down to empire building, it's not if the people are happy or not, especially except with the exception of certain types of people, well, certain groups of people and certain types of people and certain places, all added in one. But yes, it really counts for the defeat of empires. Really comes from one, corruption, which comes internally. Two, if the people are happy or not, and that mainly depends on if you can give them bread, or as my history teacher would say, if the people are hungry, then you're gonna have a revolution, which is technically true. Not gonna lie, I actually believe that to be true. And most importantly, military glory and the aspect of having strong empire, especially in Japan. Like if you've been, for those that are for those that know Japanese history, a lot of stuff, a lot of like the end of clans, especially during the Sengoku Jidai, were literally because to terrible leadership or failure to do battle. For example, the Keita clan, when they got destroyed at the Battle of Nagashino, the Imagawa clan when they got destroyed at Okayama. Wait, no, Okayama, and well, that was quick. One of my courtiers just died. I am gonna try to raise another one. Can I? Yes, I can. And certain rare aspects like the death of Oda Nobunaga, which is that is kind of sad. Like, this guy went all the way to... I'm not saying Oda Nobunaga was a nice guy, but like, I'm just trying to say that if Achike Mitsuhide actually succeeded in what he was doing, and I'm pretty much butchering these names, if Mitsuhide was successful in killing Oda Nobunaga and literally becoming like making himself a lord, and it's just gonna be even more chaos to Japan. Thankfully Hideyoshi avenged Nobunaga. Once again, I'm not a Nobunaga fan. I'm just saying that at least you were the closest to unifying Japan. Yes, that's that. That was a scary turn. So basically, for those who don't know, if you see a very long turn, then that means a lot of stuff is going to happen. The enemy is going to assault Ichizu. Great. It's 2 stack armies, 2 full stack army. Well, not actually, no. It's 1 full stack army. I only have some cavalry to come into this battle. I do have naval bombardment, which I'm obviously not going to use on my own castle. I'm actually going to use it on the enemy. Basically what happened to the naval bombardment was basically I ordered a naval bombardment and the enemy just ran away. And this naval bombardment just served to like a deterrent. But that said, the fortress is pretty massive. It has multiple ranks of arrow towers, guns, cannon on the walls, and that's pretty scary. My army is mostly made of cavalry, and you might be wondering, why don't you sally out? Well, the reason why I don't sally out is because I'm gonna have the cannons do most of the job. And speaking of cannons, here comes the cannon battery. The enemy is mostly gonna be mounted, which means the cannons only have to either kill the horse or kill the rider, thus making cavalry a big target. Also, not to mention that the fact that literally cavalry has to dismount and then attack us. But the enemy infantry is actually pretty... it's not the best army, but it's a pretty big army. Most of their units are colonial line infantry, which are, once again, have 40 less units than regular infantry. Yeah. They also have some volunteers and conscripts in the mix. Not a scary force, just a massive force. And my guys are severely depleted, at least my infantry. My cavalry is doing fine, but at the end of this battle, they will also be depleted. Yeah, that is why I'm relying mostly on this cannon tower, well, cannon, cannon placement, the fortress cannons, to literally do damage on the enemy. Hopefully that works, but if it doesn't, I don't know what to say. And for those that are wondering, yes, we're going to be slightly over time. I usually try to keep my episodes at 30 minutes, or 30 to 32 minutes. And I don't know if this episode is going to be longer. I hope it's not. And yes, the enemy is going to be climbing the walls, and for some reason they just they decide to charge in. The reason why you see arrows being fired is from my mounted archers. My mounted archers are firing arrows into a blob of enemy troops and are trying to scale the walls, and they're actually getting kills. That's pretty weird, don't you say? One, I have horses defending the walls, and two, I literally have mounted archers firing at the enemy. So yeah, that's pretty insane. But I actually, cavalry in this battle was basically, I literally charged them at the guys who were coming on the wall, and it actually did pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. Now, does that mean you should, for a multiplayer battle, you're gonna bring cavalry? No, please don't. You're just gonna get massacred by any normal player. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah. Don't ever try it on multiplayer. It's a terrible idea, guys. But that said, yes. The enemy colonial line infantry is going to come in, and my guys are already quite tired. They're also, well, my guys are depleted. They're not the best of strength. And one is a few of these frontline units are depleted, and they're just gonna be holding the line. Eventually, we do hold the line, but yeah, this is a pretty long battle, so I'm gonna cut most of it out, and we're gonna be running out of time if I don't. At the end of the battle, we've lost a full unit, a White Banner border unit. The enemy lost pretty much their entire army. But my army is in no shape to push the enemy. That is why I'm going to be asking for more and more troops. And they're going to be eventually carried by ship. But that is it for this episode. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, before you leave, I would like to thank you very much for watching this video. I would be honored if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, more videos are coming out, so it is a good idea to click on that notification button. Anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.